Alright, welcome back everybody to Fire Emblem Hector Hard. We are on the boat. Except we're not going to be on the boat for very long. So, no multiple years of traveling across the boat in Berserk because things happened and we didn't want to write Berserk for a while, or we were slow at writing it, or we were working on the art or something. I don't know the whole story. All I know is that apparently Guts was on the boat for a very long time. So we're going to try to keep purchases limited to iron weapons and maybe some hand-throwing weapons. Mainly because I have to keep money in my pocket, and I'm not planning on stopping off at a Coliseum and just grinding out a dozen levels or so. Of course, that depends, I guess. Depends on if I start getting... I'm not going to say desperate, because I don't think I'll be desperate, but if I want to have a particular character, like... thinking of using Heath, for instance. Heath is... I don't know, do I get Heath before then? I think I get Heath before then. Anyways, a character like that, then maybe I get it like level 10 or something. I want him to catch up. And seeing as my guys are like in their mid-teens, mid to late teens, yeah, we're gonna want him to catch up very fast. But again, I digress. Also, of all of the Cavaliers, I don't know what to make of Sane. He's great at what he excels at, and he is terrible at everything else. I mean, if you want him to have strength, and you want him to have skill, or is it skill? I think it's skill. I have to double check. Anyways, he's got two big boy stats where he gets strength and either skill or speed. I can't remember which one it is. I think it's skill. If you want a very accurate, hard-hitting character, great. He's great. But in terms of getting defense, in terms of his final statistics, I remember him being kind of mediocre in his other statistics. Now, you'll argue with me, well, Chris, but you like Kent. Why do you like Kent? He is the epitome of mediocre. Well, yeah, that's my point. He gets the strength and the skill and the speed, but he doesn't get it as much as, say, Kent does, and he doesn't get the defense that Lowen does. And I don't know. In this playthrough, I kind of wish I had left Lowen for this playthrough because he's got defense. But what are you gonna do? So this is a mission where you're gonna definitely be careful. Unlike when I played this on Elwood and Hector's normal mode, we will not be cleaning out this board. In fact, we are going to completely try to avoid the boss of this area because he's wielding a Luna, which makes him very dangerous. I am going to try to steal the guiding ring off of him because it'll give me an earlier access to, unless I'm mistaken, it'll give me earlier access to getting, more than likely it's going to be Urk classed up to a stage, though it could technically also be Priscilla. I just don't see Priscilla leveling up that quickly, as I did get her a few levels ago, but she is very much locked behind the fact that she needs to heal. And she kind of needs to be everywhere. And in levels like this where I can't really put her everywhere, and we're limited to 12 turns, she's only going to get, at most, 12 opportunities to heal. So, yeah. And I'm not really sure we're going to be able to use the sleep staff on this. I brought the sleep staff with me. I'm not sure we're going to be able to use the sleep staff on this level, just because it's based on her magic, which at this point is not super great, and the enemy's resistance, which is going to be, particularly for a boss, is going to be relatively high. So it's a staff that will work better when I get towards promotion post-promotion even than right now, where she's pre-promoted and doesn't have nearly the kind of magic that I need her to have to effectively wield the sword. I mean the sword. Effectively wield the stave. Even though she can technically wield it because it's within her skill capability. She's got a high enough skill for it. You know, as in A, B, C, D skill, not as in like skill, the stat. So now that we've got our guys here up and out, we're actually good to leave Merlinus here. Because as far as I remember, as far as I can tell, there's not going to really be any reinforcements aside from the ones that are coming from this right-hand boat that is going to sneak in and punch Merlinus in the face. I.e., there's not going to be any... All the Pegasus Knights are going to be appearing at the bottom of this screen, is what I'm trying to get at. Which is like really good, because now that I've gotten rid of the 2 or 3 Pegasus Knights and shit that exist on the left front or the left top side of this map, as well as the center boat area, I literally don't have to worry about him so long as I keep someone at least like at least like Sane in reserve to move in case like another Myrmidon appears in that on the upper right boat. Yeah. I very much determined that the difficulty of Hector's hard mode entirely revolves around a couple things. What did you do in well, bottom line, it revolves around experience. What did you do in Lynn's mode? Whatever you did in Lynn's mode is going to make Hector's hard mode easier, for the most part. Because it seems very, very unlikely that using particularly the first couple characters, Kent, Dane, Lynn, that they're not going to already be past the level that they appear in Hector's hard mode. You know, if you choose to skip Lynn's mode, that is. Right off the bat, you're going to have stronger characters, either whether you're focusing on leveling everybody equally, or if you're focused more on, say, just leveling a few characters and giving them all of Lynn's Tails experience. You're going to make your game a little bit easier that way. Urk's another one. So, any character that you can get in Lynn's mode, Urk, Kent Sane, Dorcas. Not that you really want to use Dorcas in a hard run mode, but gives you a leg up on the early difficulties of Hector's hard mode. Now, regardless of that, some of those early difficulties, you can definitely start to turn the screws as the characters begin to level up, because at a certain point, you know, you start out at level 1, they make the game as hard as they do, and then as you start to get to where I'm at now in the game, your characters, even if you didn't use them in Lynn's mode, are starting to get to that point where they are closing in on I mean, they're already over-leveled is what I should say, but they're closing in on mid to late teens. I mean, I don't have either Lynn or Elwood in this mission, but they're both at 12 at this point. So it's like, okay, you're gonna bench a couple characters that are 12? You know? That unfortunately has entirely to do with this stage, because board users are not super great against Pegasus Knights, and they're not really great against, there's not really advantages what I'm trying to get at. You get more out of, say, lance users and axe users in this level than you do out of anyone else. Now, I did bring Guy with me because I want to keep him moving on his levels, but I could have easily swapped him out for Lynn or swapped him out for Elwood. But the thing I like about Guy, particularly if you can keep him away from the Pegasus Knights, and even if you can't keep him away from Pegasus Knights, you got high evasion. So that's what I'm kind of looking for him to do, is to use that high evasion to my advantage, either by forcing the AI to basically say, we're not going to hit him, let's not attack him, let's attack someone else with like Hector, who has lots of defense. Or, you know, go after, you know, force one of the Pegasus Knights to go after, again, someone who's wielding either a lance or an axe, which just puts them kind of at a disadvantage. You see that dodge is ideal. Every time he dodges is just like the best thing, which unfortunately is the opposite of what Dorcas does. Dorcas has got lots of health, but he doesn't get the defense and he doesn't get the evasion that Bartray gets, and it just drives me up the wall. He's such a niche use in this game, and I hate him. That doesn't help either. The fact that I used him in one of my early playthroughs and could not stand him and had to bench him after dumping who knows how amount of experience into him. Which, if you played enough of Fire Emblem 7, you know that's actually not a big deal, but my thought was, oh fuck, I'm gonna have to restart this game because I've given him 12 levels or something of experience, and there's no way my guy's gonna be able to catch up because of all that experience I gave to Dorcas, which of course isn't true, having played this game many times. I don't care if Hector takes all the experience either. As you can see, we're starting to hit that plateau where it doesn't matter if they fight Sane or they fight Hector or Oswin. It's just, you're just gonna pink off of them, and I'm gonna get 5 to 10 experience at most. 1 for a miss, obviously. It's fine, because I gotta level up anyways. What I want, though, is big levels. I want, you know, 4 and 5 stats apiece, which I know is asking a lot, but, you know, can't help to try, right? The plan here is to clean up the enemies around the boat here. We're setting ourselves up so that Matthew can either... Basically what we want to do is we want to have Matthew steal the upgrade ring off of the boss, and then to retreat back. And that may result in having to bring Priscilla down next to Matthew so that we can do a quick scoop and run, or I may take a risk and try and put him up against, knowing that he's got enough experience, enough speed that he won't get doubled. To basically, yeah, he's moving reinforcements in from the south now. But basically knowing that he won't get doubled, so it's just a matter of him surviving a single attack and not getting critted. So, I have a subject I want to talk about, and I'm going to hold it till next episode, because we're already too late in this episode to give it justice, so in all likelihood, I won't be talking much about that level, except maybe if something really surprising happens. But, to make a long story short, if I talk exclusively about one subject and don't mention the game at all, please forgive me. I sort of have a long thought rant I want to talk about, and I'm not really sure how long it's going to go. Whether it's only going to go a few minutes, or if it's going to go the entirety of the next episode. So there's a warning in case you're watching this in the past, but not in the past, obviously in the future at some point, and you want to skip over a middle-aged man rant about existence. It's gonna, if you've watched all my other episodes, this is gonna sound familiar to something I talked about probably about a year ago. Well, not that I don't want you to watch all the episodes, just I'm giving you an option to opt out of the next episode. I won't feel bad if you do. So we're getting to the point here soon where we're going to have to stop relying on vulneries, which means we're going to get to the point where either I'm going to have to start clumping my army up together, retreating, or something like that, because I need to start getting Priscilla the full range of experience that she should have so that she can, as quickly as possible, move into what I guess I'll call self-sufficient range, which in this case is a troubadour. No, it's not a troubadour, it's called a Valkyrie. When she gets the Valkyrie, we're going to probably try to focus as heavily as possible on her leveling up her anima magic, and then we'll see how that works out for us, because at that point I'll have Urk as a backup healer. But I also kind of want him to continue his journey to S rank. But we'll see. As I've mentioned before, probably in the lead up to this run as well as in this actual run, we're going to be very mage, and I mean anima mage heavy in this game. Because I'm going to try to run Pent and Louise, and that's going to also include Urk, who's going to be a mage, or sage, and Priscilla is going to also be able to wield ammo magic, so we're going to go very heavy on the nature-based magic and not so much on anything else. Like, there'll be no white magic. There'll be no... Aside from when we get, what's his face at the end of the game? Athos. There it is. Took me a while to remember it. Boom, dead. Boom, dead. Boom, dead. Not ideal, I know. Axes over swords is never a great choice. You're just rolling the dice knowing that, yeah, it's not a good choice, but I got like 15 defense, so what does it matter if I miss? So the only reason we're retreating here now is we want to make sure that I've got my guys more or less clumped up so that none of them can be overwhelmed, if you will. And I'm going to try to... I know I just kind of realized I screwed this up, but I'm going to try to make it so that only one person can possibly attack Priscilla. That's fine. Dead. This will be our last turn coming up. So we're going to use this to sort of, even though we retreated in the previous turn, we're going to use this turn to now push forward and clean up the remaining guys that are left on the board. Particularly as we didn't get any reinforcements on this left side. So this shouldn't be too hard. Just like that, you know what I mean? A little bit of damage to her, because he's got Constitution. Not that big a deal. You, move down. Evade, kill. Doesn't matter. You, kill. 40% chance of him hitting me, did not. Good. Not that it matters, because I'm on the last turn anyways. Nope, just a little short, unfortunately. Fine. Fine, it's fine, it's fine. That's a 67% chance of hitting. Did a pretty good job there. For some reason the computer calculated this in a strange way. Even though they're continuing to attack Sane, they're just basically in a block out, so he can't actually be attacked by that druid. It's kind of weird to me. You just leave the Swordmaster where he's at, and you come in and you do more damage to Sane, and it's like, nah, not doing that. Okay, whatever. Bother me. Game over anyways.